Alright, so breathing series, Reason to Breathe, Chapter 4, Change. Sarah was quiet when we drove away from school. I knew she was thinking and hoped that it had nothing to do with me. But of course it did. There's a way around it, you know. I sighed, afraid to encourage this train of thought. You don't have to cut yourself off from everyone to get through high school, she continued. We just have to anticipate the questions and have answers ready. There are so many guys who would love to ask you out, but have no idea how to approach you. We can figure this out. Sarah, you're not making any sense. Besides, the obvious. I can't go out. What's the obvious? Honestly, who do you know who's interested in me? Be specific. Evan already told you he found you interesting, she said with a grin. Let's start with him. Let's not, I groaned. Oh, did you hear that Haley Spencer asked him to homecoming? She exclaimed. Of course I didn't. You're my source of gossip, remember. Something in my chest twisted. Isn't homecoming a month away? And she's a senior. What's that about? Sarah examined me with narrowed eyes. Honestly, it's only 3 weeks away. Anyway, I heard he turned her down. I told you, the senior girls were looking at him too. But Emma, he's into you. Sarah, let's put this into perspective, I corrected. I amuse him. He thinks I'm interesting. He didn't ask me out on a date. He just probably thinks I'm a freak or something. Well, you are, Sarah said with a playful smile. Who else can live with pure evil while she's still maintaining a 4.0? Play 3 varsity sports, be in what seems like every club, and to top it all off, be scouted by 4 colleges. That is pretty freakish. Before I could respond, she continued. Okay, let's just say we don't know his motives. He already knows you're a private person. It sounds like you made that perfectly clear. Why can't you give him what he wants and just talk to him? He's either genuinely interested and will ask you out, and we'll deal with that when it happens. Or he ends up becoming a friend, which isn't a bad thing. You have nothing to lose. Come on. The worst thing that could happen is he moves on and everything's back to the way it was before he got here. She was so compelling. Besides, I thought talking to him could get him to leave me alone, especially once he realized there's not much to know. Which would be the best thing that could happen, not the worst. Fine, I'll talk to him. So, what's the story? And I don't want to lie. I figured she'd already concocted something during her silence. No lying, sort of. You just leave most of it out, so it's omission, she said smugly, confirming my suspicion. You tell him you were adopted by your aunt and uncle after your father died and your mother became ill. That's pretty accurate. You can tell him anything you want about Layla and Jack, since that won't affect anything. Explain that your aunt and uncle are very busy with work and the kids, and that will hopefully be reason enough why they don't go to your games. He's definitely going to want to know why I'm your only friend, and why you don't talk to anyone. He's already asked that, I admitted. I didn't answer him. Well, tell him you and I became friends when you first moved here. That's true. She hesitated for a moment to think about the second part of the question. Say that you're the first in your family to go to college, which is technically true, and that you have a lot of pressure on you to get a scholarship. That's not bad, but why don't I have more friends? I challenged. How about your aunt and uncle are very overprotective and have no idea how to raise a teenager, so they tend to be strict. Then you can admit that because you're so involved in school activities and sports, and with the early curfew, you don't get to go out much. That should work. Besides, that'll be like one conversation, and then you can talk about anything else. Almost all truthfully, music, sports, college. You may have a hard time with pop culture, but I can bring you magazines so you can catch up during the rides to school if you want. I laughed. Why is this so important to you? I don't know. She paused, considering the answer. These past 2 days, I've seen a fire in your eyes that I've never had before. Granted, it's mostly anger and frustration, but it's still emotion. You keep everything locked up so tight. I'm afraid someday you're going to explode. This guy's found a way to get to you unlike anyone else. You're different, and I like it. I don't like seeing you upset, but I like seeing you feeling something. I know you put your guard down a little with me, but you refuse to show me the hard stuff. You never get angry or scared, or let me know when you're hurt. You don't want me to see you that way, but I know you have to feel it, especially with everything Carol puts you through. In the past 2 days, you've been angry, frustrated, and humiliated. I was actually relieved you didn't turn into dust or a mass murderer. So if it takes this guy to annoy you to let some of it out, then I want you to keep talking to him. Sound crazy? It does, actually, I said. She scowled, not pleased with my honesty. But I understand what you're saying. After we pulled into her driveway, she shut off the car and turned to me in expectation. What if I like him? That would be horrible. You're the only one who knows my secrets, and I can't risk letting anyone else in right now. Not while I'm still living with them. It's too complicated. I took a deep breath before continuing. But I'll try to talk to him. This caused a smile to sprout on Sarah's face. Besides, he'll probably continue to frustrate me, and I'll end up strangling him. If I murder him, you're my accomplice for encouraging it. Do you promise to tell me everything? Sarah asked, glowing. Of course, I replied with a grin as I rolled my eyes. If I don't tell you, then it's like it never happened. And besides, who's going to help me bury the body when I bludgeon him for patronizing me? She laughed and hugged me again. Feeling my body tense, she pulled back. Sorry. I followed Sarah into her enormous house. Her family lived in a newer home compared to the historic colonials and Victorians in the center of town. The development used to be farmland at one point and was now broken up into expansive lots to showcase huge homes. I could never get used to Sarah's setup as we neared the top of the stairs. Sarah was an only child. She had a lot of room to herself in the 3-story house. Actually, she had the entire 3rd floor. The bathroom was larger than my entire bedroom, with its granite double sinks, jacuzzi tub, and separate shower to the right. To the right, the landing opened into a game room with cathedral ceilings and white walls accented by a hot pink racing stripe around the perimeter, with black electric guitars mounted on it. There was a plush white couch with a matching recliner and love seat in front of the home theater system that included a giant flat screen mounted to the wall on the far side of the room. It was hooked up to several gaming systems that were set on a console beneath it. Behind the couch was a reading area with a built-in bookshelf that extended to the ceiling with a sliding ladder attached to reach the higher shelves. Oversized pillows lined the floor beneath the bookcases, creating the perfect place to get lost in the pages. In the corner, opposite the library, were air hockey and foosball tables. Sarah touched the screen of the built-in music dock on one of the walls, selecting an indie artist, declaring what she expected from a guy. The rhythmic guitar strums filled the entire floor through the inset speakers in the ceiling. I followed Sarah into her bedroom on the other side of the stairs. Are you ready to be pampered? She asked, jumping onto one of her 2 queen-sized beds adorned with pink and orange pillows. Sure, I answered, hesitantly walking past the door that opened into her office, with its walls covered with pictures of friends, record covers, and celebrities. The room was small, but still large enough to squeeze in a full-size black vinyl couch. I sat down on the identical bed next to Sarah's. I have the perfect sweater for you to wear with the best pair of jeans, she declared, bouncing off the other side of the bed and entering her walk-in closet. This room, and I say room, not closet, was as large as my bedroom, with 2 long walls lined with shelves and bars, storing folded and hung clothes. At the end of the closet were racks of shoes in every color and style. Visiting Sarah was like taking a break from reality. Everyone's reality. Sarah, you're 5'10". There's no way I'm going to fit into your jeans, I argued. You're not that much shorter than me, she retorted. You have a good 3 inches on me. Besides, I brought a pair of jeans. She paused, trying to decide if my jeans were acceptable. Okay, you can take a shower up here, and I'll use my parents' bathroom, she instructed, handing me a scoop-neck white shirt paired with a light pink cashmere sweater with a square neckline. 2 shirts, I inquired. Well, it's supposed to be cold tonight, and you can't wear a jacket that will hide the sweater, so... Layers, she explained simply. I raised my eyebrows and slowly nodded. It was obvious that she was loving this, and my lack of fashion savvy was not going to keep her from treating me like a life-size Barbie doll. I couldn't imagine what else she had in store, or maybe I didn't want to. Listen, she said, trying to put me at ease. I know you never make a big deal of her clothes or any of that, but it's because you can't, not because you don't want to. I know that they don't let you shop, so let me do this for one night, okay? Of course she knew that I appreciated the latest trends, as we often flipped through fashion magazines together during lunch. But I was only allowed to go shopping twice a year, at the beginning of the school year and again in the spring. I had to get the most out of my biannual clothing stipends, and buy items that could easily mix and match, so it wasn't obvious when I rotated them every few weeks. This practically didn't allow me to shop in the trendy stores in the mall, or the boutiques in the city like most of my classmates. It meant going to the discount chains and the plazas. I never let it mean that much to me. It wasn't worth it. However, to have access to Sarah McKinley's wardrobe for one night would be any girl's dream, so I wasn't about to refuse it. I knew she had clothes in that closet that still had tags on them. I took the tops, grabbed my tote, and headed to the bathroom. Sarah ran out of her room before I closed the door. Oh, I have this lotion I bought last week that I think you'd like. I was going to save it for a Christmas gift, but you should use it tonight, she said, handing me a bottle of lotion with pink flowers drawn on the label. Thanks, I said, taking the bottle before I closed the door. It was great to take a long, hot shower without fear of the knock on the door, signaling the end of my allotted 5 minutes. It gave me time to think about the past couple of days and how different today felt. I was actually looking forward to the game, despite how awkward it was going to be. I thought if I could get through the game, then I would be able to get through the party. I shut off the water with a new conviction. How long would it last? Was another story. I flipped the top of the bottle and took in the soft floral scent. After dressing, I opened the door to find Sarah on the stairs with a towel wrapped around her head. She wore a flattering light blue Angora sweater. Sarah had no problem with tops that hugged her model-esque body. Sarah looked amazing, even with the towel on her head. Conversely, I tugged and pulled at the pink sweater that felt like a second layer of skin, despite the layer beneath. Oh, that sweater looks great. You should wear more clothes that fit you like that, instead of hiding your figure. I dismissed her with a shrug. She smiled before asking, Are you ready for the next step? We were interrupted when her mom called up that the pizza was here. We'll eat, and then finish getting ready, Sarah decided, and turned to descend the stairs. I heard you scored 3 goals yesterday, Anna said from the refrigerator where she was pouring us glasses of Diet Coke. Sarah also told me about the Scouts. You must be so excited, Emma. I am, I replied with a small smile. I was horrible at carrying on a conversation with my peers. Forget about trying to say something worthwhile to an adult. The only adults I spoke to on a regular basis were my teachers, my coach, and my aunt and uncle. I only discussed my assignments with my teachers. Coach was all about soccer, so that was easy. George hardly said a word, or maybe he couldn't get a word in over Carol's rambling about how difficult it was to be her. And of course the interactions I had with Carol were one-sided, usually reprimands about how useless and pathetic I was. So I didn't have a lot of practice. Anna recognized my conversational ineptitude, so she didn't push. Congratulations, she added, walking towards the stairs. She paused to tell Sarah, I'm going upstairs to change for dinner. Your dad and I are going to eat with the Richardsons, and we've invited the Matthews to come along, since they're new in town. Okay, Mom, Sarah said, only half listening. My heart had stopped when Anna said their name. Your parents are going to dinner with Evan's parents? I whispered in disbelief. Sarah shrugged. My parents have to know everyone in town. You know. They're like Wesleyan's unofficial welcoming committee. My father's the ultimate politician. Then she added with a grin, Do you want me to get some dirt on Evan and his family for you? Sarah, I exclaimed, of course not. I'm really not that interested in him. I'm just going to talk to him so he'll leave me alone. Sure, she said with a knowing smile. I tried to ignore her and took a bite of a pizza slice. What's next? I asked, needing to not talk about Evan anymore. I was hoping you'd let me cut your hair, she said with a cautious smile. My hair was all one length, hanging past the middle of my back. There was no way I could get it cut every 8 weeks or whatever was needed to maintain a style, so I kept it simple and trimmed it myself a few times a year. I usually wore it up out of my face in a clip or ponytail. Again, simple. What do you want to do? Nothing crazy, she reassured me. Just shorten it. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. Really? This is going to be so great, she exclaimed, practically jumping off the stool and dragging me back up the stairs. She opened the middle drawer of her vanity, which displayed every shade of lipstick and nail polish on the market, and took out a comb and pair of professional shears. She invited me to sit as she laid a towel on the floor to capture the clippings, and attached another around my shoulders. No one's going to recognize you tonight. That wouldn't be a bad thing. Sarah drew the comb through my hair and clipped portions of it up. I felt the weight begin to fall and decided it was best to keep my eyes shut and let her concentrate, or keep me from panicking as more hair fell to the floor. Sarah sang along with the music as she combed, clipped, and cut. Before I knew it, she was plugging in the hairdryer and running it over a round brush as she styled my hair. Keep your eyes closed, Sarah instructed as she spread eyeshadow along my lids with her cool fingers. Sarah, please don't make me look ridiculous, I pleaded. I'm barely putting any on, I promise. The bristles of a brush streaked across my cheeks. What do you think, Em? Open your eyes, she demanded impatiently. I peeked between my lashes to view the transformation. My dark brown hair gently rested on my shoulders, and layers of bangs softened my heart-shaped face. I found myself smiling. I like it, I admitted. She hadn't put much makeup on, to my relief, just a slight shimmer on my lids, and a hint of pink on my cheeks, which wouldn't be needed if I was anywhere near Evan. Here, Sarah said, handing me a tube of lip gloss and mascara. I thought it would be easier if you put these on yourself. I'm going to get ready in the bathroom. I'll be right back. While Sarah was drying and styling her hair, I sat on one of the beds and flipped through the latest women's magazine, full of articles on how to be more aggressive and the fastest way to lose 10 pounds. When she glided back into the room, she was radiant, with loose curls of shiny red hair and just enough makeup to show off her blue eyes and pouty red lips. It deflated me a little. What's wrong? Sarah asked, reacting to my sunken shoulders. Are you sure you want me to go with you? I don't want it to be awkward for you, having me tag along when I know everyone will want to talk to you. She scowled and then threw a pillow at me. Shut up. Of course I want you to go with me. Why should this be any different than any other day? If people talk to me and I want to talk to them, I will. It's never bothered you before. I looked at the floor, recognizing my nerves were getting the better of me, and it really had nothing to do with Sarah's popularity. You're right. Sorry, I'm just getting a little paranoid about going. We'll have fun, I promise. Sarah's teeth sparkled between her shiny red lips. She went back into her closet and threw something out in my direction. This white scarf goes perfectly with that sweater, and it'll keep you warm, so you won't miss not having a jacket. Thanks. I grabbed the fuzzy scarf and wrapped it around my neck as I stood in front of the mirror. Sarah was right. I did look different. This is going to be the best night, Sarah reassured me when we got into her car to drive to the school. She was so excited she could barely contain her energy, which made me smile. I made an effort to let go of the anxiety that had been building. I could do this. I could be social. Okay, let's not go that far. I would not be completely pathetic. That sounded better. Who was I kidding?